of our video tour series. Welcome to Joseph R. Biden Jr. train station in Wilmington, Delaware. Tracks right now.
That's correct. What's really interesting about this station, picking up on the idea that we talked about, is where you see all these rivets and this corrugated steel put together plate by plate by plate. This is where the tracks are above us. And then over in the areas where you don't see these kinds of rivets are where the platforms are, they're brick arches. And that's the original construction from the 1908 station. And interestingly enough, where the arches are, Frank Furnace actually designed glass block skylights that came through the platform. And unfortunately, they leaked so badly they had to be taken out of the project decades ago. So they were but Frank Furnace always intended for the structure to be exposed and for people to see the power and the kinds of structure that's necessary to hold up these trains that weigh thousands of pounds traveling above you. So that rumbling noise adds to the power of taking the train. Only one of two stations in the whole Amtrak system nationwide where the tracks are elevated over the station. And yeah, that was done because in the late 19th century, they elevated the whole trackway. The Pennsylvania Railroad, the original railroad system, elevated all the tracks off of grade. They all used to come through town on grade, and a lot of people would have accidents and get thrown trains, kill horses, all that kind of stuff. So when they elevated the tracks shortly thereafter, they decided to do the station. And the area that they picked, then they needed to elevate the waiting platforms because they didn't have the elevators and such. So in this station, the ticketing and the baggage is all handled on the ground level, which is the roadway and traffic level, and then people go up then on, as opposed to going down at other stations on top of the station where the main waiting room is for ladies and men, and they would wait up near the tracks. A big chunk of the dollars that were spent on the renovation were on the waterproofing system for this track. And it was gone over with the Amtrak Bridge people, and we had a waterproofing consultant that worked on it as well, trying to get the combination of durability and waterproofing. Because all of these tracks are basically the roof of the station downstairs.
So do you guys want to share with us what the significance of the clock tower is to Wilmington?
It's a major piece of the city. Just about everybody that comes into town, the main drag coming into town is right in front of us, and everybody watches the clock. And all the buses pull up out here and they watch the clock. So yeah, it's a big part of the city.
In the first years of the station, up until it was renovated in the 80s, there used to be a newsstand that sat right here in this corner of the waiting room. And this is real marble flooring, so it's kind of soft. And then you can feel an indentation in the marble where the newsstand counter used to be, where the gentleman would come up and pay their money, and they would scuff their feet, and you can just put your foot across there, and hundreds and thousands of feet across this space over the years.
We dedicated the train station to Joseph R. Biden Railroad Station, Joseph R. Biden Jr. Railroad Station, in March of 2010, I think it was. And yeah, Joe and his wife and the kids and everybody have been coming through here Since he's been in the Senate office, which is 30-some years too. So I've known Joe for quite a while, Mr. Biden, and we used to hold the train a lot for him. So, and he made a statement about that when he was campaigning one time, so that was nice. But yeah, he's been coming through here for quite a few years. He's become a good friend to most of the employees here. Our hardest thing was when he went from the senator to the vice president. We were still like treating him like a warm jug, you know.
Right.
He still likes that. He likes that a lot. He comes in and talks to everybody.
That's great.
One of the big aspects of historic restoration is the windows, because they just don't make windows today like they used to then. So the national, the standards for the Secretary of the Interior for restoration always look at keeping the existing windows. This side of the building, as you can see, faces south and the sun's pouring in, and that sun has a detrimental effect with the wind and the rain from this side, and these windows were badly deteriorated. And so we compromised with the State Historic Preservation Office to do new aluminum replica windows with insulated glass here. And then areas like on the other side of this room, underneath the canopies, we kept the old wood windows and preserved those and restored them. And then we put a set of interior storm windows on for energy efficiency. It worked out very well. It was a nice compromise.
And you can hardly tell the difference between the new windows and the original windows. They look very similar.
We do feel that it's a great replication, and it also then it's a maintenance-free situation for Amtrak, which was a win-win.
Definitely.
A lot of parts that I really like in the train station. A lot of them have different stories, but I'm really a historicist at heart. And these two rooms, the women's waiting room and this men's waiting room, are probably the two lone examples of grand rooms in this station that are the way they look the way they did in 1908 when the station actually opened up. And the fact that you can get a sense of the height and grandeur of the building, and also see the exposed steel and Frank Furness's intent to link the exposed steel with the power of the cast iron trains and that industrial age he tried to evoke in his architecture. And I think these rooms start to approach that opportunity.